Has it started? Yes. Hello, dear tea friends from around the world. Welcome to a new tea class with me, Stéphane Erler. I'm the founder of the Tea Masters blog and also of the tea-masters.com tea boutique, where you find my selection of great teas from Taiwan and tea accessories, chabu like this. And like every week, we do this tea class in French, in German, and in English. Today is a special day because it's Easter, so happy Easter to all Christian friends. And I am going to talk about Easter and about tea ceremony. I thought this is really the best time. I just finished a book by an anthropologist called René Girard, who was French, and he taught at the University of Stanford most of his career. So a French who went to the US because you are not prophet in your own country, as the saying goes. And he has great things to say about the meaning of rituals, the meaning of ceremonies, and the meaning of Easter, which is very special according to him from an anthropologic looking glass. So we are going to talk about this in this class. I'm going to drink Thie Guanyin, the lightest roast from my sampler, because today is the day I'm supposed to make a class about Thie Guanyin. So it's getting warmer today. It's spring is coming, and the Jinshuan is about to be harvested. It's going to come probably next week. The harvest have started. Green tea is already harvested. The best is the Bilochun from Sanxia. It's already there. You can order it. And let's make some Thie Guanyin. And let's start this lesson about ceremonies, rituals, religions, and about Easter. And let's discover a hidden truth that Girard has unlocked in the scriptures, and with a lot of common sense, and in other mythologies, and I'll tell you about it. Okay, this has started. I hope you can hear me well. And I'm about to tell you this story of anthropology. So what does anthropology mean? It's a study of what makes man and not an animal. So we share some common traits with animals, like the mimetic desire, imitating what others are doing to learn from them. This is what we need to do as a child, to learn to speak, to learn to use a fork and a knife to eat, and then later on in class to learn about language and a job, to have a work. But let's go back in time when men started to become men and were almost yet like animals. So at that time, what is the how does the society evolve? For animals, you have also this mimetic desire to be a leader. In most animal societies, there's one boss, the leader of the pack. He has access. Usually it's a male, and let's say he has access to most women. So his position is very, very enviable. People see him with envy, would like to have the same position as him. But if they are very weak, they They say, okay, no, he's really too strong for me, I cannot challenge him. The most likely challenge comes from animals that are similar in strength to him. So it could be actually his twin brother could challenge the chief, because they've been raised in the same culture with the same genes, they have the same desires, and maybe they are very similar in strengths. So if it's not him, maybe it could be me. There's very little that that makes us apart from each other. So that's and we both have this, and both brothers have the same envies. So there is this crisis that is brewing, and nothing to do with tea yet, about wishing the same thing, being of equal strength, and it has to go to the next step, which is violence and maybe even death. So we see this in the animal kingdom. Sometimes it does not lead to death, but to exile for the loser, or he really accepts that that he will be fed last or much later than the chief. And we have for Girard, this is how men started to evolve and become different from animals. So after a violent confrontation with a double, which turned into death for one of the parties, the other party is a victorious party, and everybody feels quite uncomfortable. I just killed my brother or somebody from the clan. Killing somebody is not very nice for the group. So everybody feels uncomfortable, and in the animal kingdom, okay, it's quickly forgotten. But for men, this is for where Girard says comes the first rites, the first culture. Let's do a tomb to remember this person, and maybe later on remember this death at regular intervals, in order to pacify the society, so that we don't turn to violence again. So this first victim becomes a bit a scapegoat for things that did not go well, and the chief thinks, okay, I can use now this death to cement everybody around my leadership. I can proclaim that I'm chosen by God because I'm the winner, or by divinity, and from now on you have to give sacrifice. You have to bring me some food to feed me, because I'm going to guarantee peace and stability for all of you, because I'm the strongest, and also because I was able to defeat the loser. And then the loser, of course, will be scapegoated with all the bad attributes, for all the bad reasons, for all the bad things that were happening before. We will say, okay, that was his fault, and now that he's gone, actually this helps us to go forward and to be more prosperous, more harmonious together. And the rituals start from this first murder, according to Girard, and that's how culture is created, and how man differs from animals, because he's now making some system to avoid repeating this primal violence. He wants this violence to be only a one-time event, and that its memory serves to remind people, now that things have a bit changed, that he is that he has a more special function, and this is based on lots of myths, a lot of stories from all around the world, in Amazon, among Eskimos, in Asia. Girard, as an anthropologist, has seen the similar patterns. He also saw it in Romulus and Remus, another famous pair of twins who founded Rome, and one killed the other. So this, for him, is a first step how human cultures have started to evolve, and archaic religion are about bringing peace to the group by this first by transforming this first murder into something more symbolic, and later on they do sacrifices, maybe first human sacrifices, then big animal sacrifices, later on smaller and smaller animal sacrifices. It becomes more and more symbolic. Nowadays, we could say that a tea ceremony is, if the tea is not drunk and is here as a symbol for an offering to a divinity, it would be seen as this kind of archaic ritual where you create now a harmonious point of time, a harmonious place also where violence is excluded. Because really the idea is to avoid creating again this violence that leads to murder. So all these rituals, these religions, these archaic religions are about creating we would say safe spaces. So churches are places where these are the last spaces where you would think of picking a fight with somebody. Also, during a mass is also the time when you want to be the most peaceful, where you want to be the most at peace of mind. Because this is the primary function of these religions, to make human society more peaceful, much more peaceful than animal society. However, what is the first mechanism is this mimetic desire that there are two people who want the same thing, leading to a mimetic crisis, and then to violence and to a murder. And this murder is the foundation of archaic religion. Now, what does it have to do with what does it have to do with Easter? Now, let me first have a drink of tea. The light roast is giving it still some aftertaste, and but sweetness and freshness at the same time. Great tea now for this period of time when it starts to be warmer. Okay, so for Girard, all these archaic religions are first necessary steps, but there is we can go farther, and to go farther, it starts with the Old Testament, because in the Old Testament we see with, for instance, Cain and Abel, Cain killing his brother, or with Joseph and his brothers, that the victim in these mimetic desires and this mimetic crisis, the victim is very often is always innocent. Instead of blaming the problem on the victim, which is what most religions or archaic beliefs are making. That's why they that's how they justify going, for instance, in China, going from one dynasty to another. Is the old dynasty is not is doing a bad job and is not keeping a good harmony between heaven and earth, so it leads to floods, to droughts, or to hunger because not enough food is collected. So because of all these reasons, we have to, the culprit is the former family, the former dynasty doing a bad job, so it has to be replaced by a new dynasty. And so the new dynasty says, okay, now that they are gone, things are going to be better until this cycle repeats again. But in the Old Testament, we already start to see a different take on this scapegoat mechanism. Here, the Old Testament says, okay, actually this scapegoat is not guilty, he's innocent. And in the New Testament, this goes really to the utmost. While it may look like that the death of Jesus is very similar to previous sacrifices of a scapegoat, and later everything is okay. Actually, it's very different because in order to well, here the roles are inversed. Jesus, if his time would come, instead of being killed, he would kill his enemies. Here, he is killed. Why is he killed? Because his message is about love. Love your next like you want, like yourself, and treat the next person like you wish her to treat you. And so he completely refuses to use violence to impose his views. And the only way that he sees to accomplish his word and to let the truth be known, the truth about that all the societies are based on a murder, are based on violence, are based on a hatred in the beginning, is by being the innocent victim of this, of the hatred of his time. And by doing this, by doing so, he reveals this truth that all the other, that in the past, all the other religions were based on a murder, on a hate of the weak, on a hate of the person who is different. So he says, no, love the different, love the weak, love the foreigner, and love each other. So he is even willing to go to the cross to show that this is his message, that he's not going to use any violence because he wants his system, we will say, his kingdom to come through love and not through violence. And there's one miracle that happens during the crucifixion that is very symbolic, is the curtain in the temple, in the big temple in Jerusalem, is broken and opens up. And this curtain reveals the side that is before hidden about the sacrifices being done in the temple. So this, for Girard, is really the plain proof that his death on the cross is about really revealing this bigger truth that these sacrifices for the archaic religions, for the other religions, are based on a violence that he completely disavows, he wants nothing to do with it. His message is only about love. So I thought that it was a very interesting book to read. It comes from an anthropologist perspective. René Girard is also a philosopher, and he believes in the Bible, but he started to believe much more after understanding its message than before. That's also something that I find interesting, because for over 300 years, especially in France with Les Lumières, all the philosophers were trying to deconstruct the message of Christianity, criticizing the Bible and wanting to move to something different and more modern. And René Girard uses the tools of philosophy and anthropology, but instead to deconstruct also the message that is given by the Bible, and he sees in it a lot of positive accomplishments and a message that is that needs to be heard in today's world. Thank you very much. I know it's a bit different T-class than usual, but I thought it was interesting to give this perspective on our tea ceremonies and why people, we can also talk about simply tea brewing, but some people prefer to say tea ceremony. So what does it imply? This is so one of the things that we can learn from this. This is so a more archaic mechanism to bring peace with rituals to society, and of course I will maybe in a different video explain more about the mimetic desire, mimetic crisis, because these concepts are also very interesting to understand what happens between a student and a master. So thank you very much for your interest, and happy Easter. Let me see if you have any questions. I don't see any so far. And it's a bit warm. So, in the absence of questions, I remind to give me a thumbs up for this T-class. I hope the subject did not scare you away, and the tea definitely is something that made me stick, because it's really delicious. And very powerful, and it has a message that may not last 2,000 years, but it lasts for longer than most teas. This is also the character of tea guanine, full body and powerful aftertaste. Steph Lawrence, happy Easter. Thank you very much, Steph. And Elizabeth, no questions at the moment, but something to think about. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Wishing you also a happy Easter, and see you next week with another tea class, like usual. Bye-bye.